El Paso is a border city. It's the 8th largest city in Texas and the 23rd largest city in the U.S. It is a popular destination for tourists who come to experience its unique blend of American and Mexican culture. But did you know it's also a very pet-friendly city? Today we meet a very adventurous cat named Whisker, who decided to explore El Paso for 5 whole days. Join us as we follow Whisker's paw prints through this desert metropolis and uncover the top attractions in El Paso through the eyes of a very special orange tabby. We think you're gonna love this story. So, let's go. The El Paso of today. El Paso is a city with a rich history that dates back centuries. Its name translates to the pass of the sun, and it has long been a hub for those seeking a better life in the new world. The city is home to a variety of attractions that celebrate its unique cultural heritage. From the stunning architecture to the mouth-watering cuisine, there's something for everyone in El Paso. And what better way to experience it all than with your furry companion by your side? Whisker's adventures aboard a custom carrier Whisker, a chubby orange tabby with an insatiable curiosity, had been dreaming of exploring the world beyond his village for weeks, when his humans, a loving couple, who often told tales of their travels, mentioned a trip to the nearby city of El Paso. His ears perked up instantly. El Paso is known not only for its proximity, but also for its diverse culture, delicious food, and warm desert sunshine. Intrigued, Whisker meowed insistently and rubbed against their legs, hoping to get in on the action, seeing how excited their pet was. The couple had a custom carrier made to ensure Whisker's safety and comfort during the journey. Day 1. Arrival in the Sun City. After an early breakfast, the family piled into the car with Whisker securely settled in his custom carrier. The ride was long, but comfortable and exciting for the curious cat. As they left the village and entered El Paso, Whisker pressed his pink nose against the cool window. Rolling down the windows just a crack, he was immediately greeted by the scent of desert sage and cacti. By late afternoon, they arrived at their destination, Maria's cozy adobe house in El Paso's historic district. With its terracotta walls and colorful papal picado fluttering from the front porch, it was everything his humans had promised. As they stepped out to stretch their legs, Whisker eagerly explored his new The moment his paws touched Texas soil, he looked up at his humans as if to say, "We made it." Day 2. Downtown discoveries. The next morning, after a hearty breakfast of kibble and tuna, Whisker got ready for his first taste of downtown El Paso. Maria, a warm and welcoming host, took the family on a tour of the city's many sights. She stopped at several boutiques so Whisker could pose for photos outside. The shop owners and passers-by cooed over the adorable orange tabby, and Whisker basked in the attention, occasionally batting playfully at their fingers. The highlight of the morning came when they visited the El Paso Museum of Art. Perusing the outdoor sculpture garden, Whisker walked on his leash, investigating the abstract metal sculptures with a critical eye. A friendly security guard, charmed by the photogenic cat, even allowed the family to take pictures of Whisker posing next to a colorful mural depicting the city's multicultural heritage. Later, they surprised everyone by visiting the historic Plaza Theater. When they stopped outside, Whisker's eyes grew wide as saucers at the ornate Spanish colonial revival architecture. The marquee lights reflected in his amber eyes like tiny stars, and he seemed to understand he was somewhere truly special. A theater employee, enchanted by Whisker's expressive face and cartoonish charm, snapped a photo that would later become the theater's most liked social media post that month. Day 3. Mountain adventures. No trip to El Paso would be complete without experiencing the majestic Franklin Mountains. Maria drove them to Franklin Mountain State Park, where Whisker experienced his first true desert ecosystem. His paws, used to the soft village grass, encountered the new textures of sandy soil and smooth river rocks. At a scenic overlook, Whisker sat regally on a sun-warmed boulder, his fluffy orange coat creating a striking contrast against the rugged landscape. The panoramic view of El Paso and Ciudad Juarez spread out below like a patchwork quilt of urban life and natural beauty. His whiskers twitched as he caught unfamiliar desert scents on the warm breeze. Creosote bush, desert sage, and the faint sweetness of blooming, prickly pear cacti. A family of roadrunners darted past, and Whisker's hunting instincts kicked in briefly before he remembered he was on vacation. Instead, he contented himself with watching their quick movements, his head tilting this way and that in that endearing way that made everyone reach for their cameras. As the sun dipped toward the horizon, casting long shadows across the desert, they reached a secluded spot for a picnic dinner. Whisker received special treats while lounging on a soft blanket, feeling like the king of the desert. Day 4. Cultural Immersion. Maria, wanting her visitors to experience the rich cultural heritage of the border region, took them on a tour of El Paso's vibrant neighborhoods.
They began their day at the Mercado Miopen.
A bustling marketplace filled with vendors selling everything from fresh produce to handmade crafts. As they navigated the maze of stalls, Whisker's sensitive nose led them to a bakery where the aroma of freshly baked bread and sweet treats filled the air. While he couldn't partake in the delicious offerings, the mere smell was enough to send his Whiskers into a frenzy. Later, at a traditional restaurant, Whisker experienced new aromas from the kitchen. Cumin, chili peppers, fresh cilantro, and corn masa. While he couldn't join in on the spicy cuisine, the restaurant owner's daughter brought him a small bowl of plain grilled chicken, which he devoured with evident pleasure. The afternoon was spent at the Chemizal National Memorial, where Whisker learned about the peaceful resolution of a border dispute between the United States and Mexico. Though too young to grasp the historical significance, he sensed the spirit of cooperation and friendship the memorial represented. As he sat in the memorial's garden, surrounded by native desert plants and with the Rio Grande visible in the distance, Whisker embodied the peaceful harmony the monument celebrated. Day 5. Farewell to the Sun City as their vacation drew to a close. Maria took them to the famous scenic drive overlook for one last spectacular view of El Paso. Sitting on the stone wall, his chubby silhouette created an iconic image against the backdrop of the sprawling city below. His fur ruffled gently in the desert breeze, and his amber eyes reflected the vast sky above. At the El Paso Zoo, Whisker had his most exciting encounter yet while visiting the Desert Springs exhibits. He came face to face with the zoo's resident mountain lion through the safety glass.
The two cats regarded each other with mutual respect and curiosity.
For a moment, Whisker seemed to understand his place in the greater feline family tree. As the day drew to a close, they visited the historic McGoffin Home State Historic Site. In the peaceful gardens, surrounded by adobe walls and native plants, Whisker had a moment of perfect contentment. He stretched out on a warm stone pathway, his fluffy orange coat soaking up the last rays of El Paso sunshine. The family gathered around him for final photos, capturing the moment when their beloved pet had become a temporary El Paso resident.
The journey home, as they prepared to leave the next morning.
Whisker took one last look at the Franklin Mountains, rising majestically against the dawn sky. He had arrived as a curious village cat and was leaving as a well-traveled feline with stories to tell. If only he could speak during the long drive home. Whisker curled up in his carrier, dreaming of desert sunsets, friendly faces, and the warm hospitality of the Sun City. His whiskers still carried faint traces of desert sage, and his orange coat seemed to glow with an inner light that spoke of adventures well lived.
Back in his village, Whisker would often sit on that same dusty path where his adventure began,
gazing toward the western horizon where El Paso lay beyond the mountains. His expressive eyes held memories of a place where two cultures met in harmony, where the desert skies stretched endlessly, and where a chubby orange tabby had found himself welcomed as family. The photos from their trip would become treasured family memories. But, for Whisker, the real treasure was the knowledge that the world was vast and full of friends he had met. And sometimes, on particularly warm afternoons, when the sun hit his fur just right, he could almost feel the desert breeze of El Paso calling him back for another adventure.
If you've made it this far, you're awesome.
And thank you so much for watching this episode. Please consider subscribing because there are many more adventures waiting for us. Let us know your thoughts on today's adventure in the comments section. We can't wait to hear about your furry friend's own escapades. Don't forget to join our community and stay tuned for the next chapter in our series. Thanks for watching. See you soon.